In this lesson, we're going to talk about the derivative of product function, and we're going to do a lot of different type of examples that involves exponential function, trig function, and all of those type of stuff. So let's get started. So before we go to the examples, I want you guys to understand the basic formula, and that basic formula will be this one. So make sure you know this formula, and we're going to use this formula all the time. So trying to memorize this formula, and it's going to help you a lot. So the thing is, this little thing is a derivative sign, and if they give you two function, and if they want you to find the product, or what those two function will be f of x and the g of x. So the first thing you have to do is just derivate the first function, as you guys can see over here, and then write the second function as it is. G of x is not derivative, so just write it as it is, and then you have to add that one with the f of x, or write the f of x as it is, and then derivate the last one, or the g of x, as you guys can see over here. So it seems a little bit complicated when I try to demonstrate what this formula is all about. But when we do some example, it will be verified for you, so don't get confused. So now let's just do some type of examples, and let's just implement this formula. Okay, so when we do some example, the first one says that f of x equals to x squared minus 5x plus 1 times by x squared plus 1. So when you counter this for this first example, it's just so easy since we don't have any trig or stuff like that. So let's do it. So the first thing I want to do is just I want to derivate this one. This whole thing is actually f of x, and this whole thing will be my g of x. So I want to derivate this whole thing. So I'm gonna say x squared minus 5x plus 1, the whole derivative, times by, I wrote this whole formula over here because I want you guys to try and compare what I'm gonna do and what the formula is saying. So, and I'm gonna write this g of x as it is. So what this means is I'm gonna write this x squared plus 1 as it is, and I'm gonna add that one with the f of x. I'm gonna write the f of x as it is. I don't have to derivate it, but I'm gonna write it as it is. So it would be x squared minus f of 5x plus 1, and I don't have to derivate that one. And lastly, I'm going to derivate the x squared plus 1, or I'm going to derivate the g of x. So this thing is just the derivative sign. So I'm going to derivate the x squared plus 1. So this will be derivated. So when you derivate x squared minus 5x plus 1, you're going to get 2x minus 5. And then I'm going to write the g of x as it is. It will be x squared plus 1. And then I'm also gonna write the f of x as it is. It will be x squared minus 5x plus 1. Now I'm gonna derivate the g of x. So lastly, when you derivate this x squared plus 1, you're gonna get 2x. So this is all you have to do when you come to this specific question. So just this is it. This is all you have to do. So the first thing, the main thing you have to know is just follow the formula. So just do what the formula is saying. This is all you have to do. And if you know how to derivate the linear functions, and if you know the formula, you're gonna do it. It's just so easy. So now let's just do some critical questions and a little bit different examples. So this one is different example since we got the trig and exponential. So I'm gonna follow the same procedure. So this one will be my f of x value. This x will be my f of x value, and this sine x will be my g of x value. So I'm gonna derivate the x. So when you derivate the x, I'm gonna derivate the x, and then I'm gonna write the sine x, or the g of x, as it is. So I'm gonna write the sine x as it is. So this is it. And then I'm gonna add that one with the f of x and derivate the sine x, or the g of x. So I'm gonna just write the x, or the f of x, as it is, and I'm gonna derivate the last one, or the sine x. So as you guys can see, the whole thing that I did is just look at this little thing, or this derivative sign. So I derivate the f of x, or this one, or this x, and then I write the g of x. I don't have to derivate it since I don't have any derivative sign. So I write the sine x or the g of x, and I add it with the f of x. F of x is actually not derivated, so I write the x or the f of x, and then I derivate the sine x. So that's the whole thing I'm gonna do. So when you derivate x, you're gonna get 1, and then I'm gonna write the sine x plus x times by, when you derivate the sine x, you're gonna get the cos x. If you guys remember how to derivate trig functions, sine x would be cos x, and cos x would be minus sine x, and this whole type of stuff. So just try to memorize that one too. But actually, I also got another video on that. So when you multiply 1 by sine x, you're gonna get sine x. And then when you multiply x by cos x, you're gonna get x cos x. So this is it. And we're done with this example. So this is all you have to do. If you know how to derivate the trigonometric function, and if you know this formula, or if you memorize this formula, you're gonna do it. It's just so easy for you. So now let's do the third example, and I want you guys to try the third example since you got some understanding. So now let's do it. Actually, I'm gonna erase this thing because I don't think I'm gonna have space. So let me just erase this whole thing, and let's do the third one. So when you come to the third one, this is the same procedure. I'm gonna derivate x minus 3x plus 5. I'm gonna derivate this whole thing. This one is f of x, or this one is f, and this one will be my g value. So I'm gonna derivate this whole thing, and I'm gonna write the exponential function as it is, and then I'm gonna write this whole linear stuff as it is, and I'm gonna derivate the exponential one. So now let me derivate the exponential one. So this is all you have to do. So now when you derivate x squared minus 3x plus 5, you're gonna get 2x minus 3. And then let me just write the exponential function as it is. I don't have to derivate it. And then now let me just write the linear function as it is. And now lastly, I'm gonna derivate this exponential function. Actually, just let me just write the derivative form of this function. So lastly, when you derivate e to the x plus 3, I don't know if you guys remember in how to derivate exponential function, but the formula is it's just e to the u times by the derivative of u, or it will be u derivative times by ln e. So this is my formula to derivate any exponential function. So when you derivate e to the x plus 3, I'm just looking for the u derivative. So u means any function or variable that you get in exponent spot. So in my exponent spot, I got x plus 3. So when you derivate any variable, kind of like x, 2x stuff, when you derivate x, you're going to get 1. When you derivate 2x, you're going to get 2. So for that reason, I'm going to get what? Over here, I got x, so I'm going to get 1. And when you derivate any constant number, it will be 0. And then the last thing is ln e is all the time. It's just all the time. It's just 1. So I don't have to write it. So in this case, my derivative of this exponential function would be it will be what? It will be e to the x plus 3. So that's the thing, or that's my value. It seems like it's the same as my equation. So that's, I don't know. That's kind of like, that's fortunate. So this is all I have to do. But I also can actually simplify it if I want to, but this is the last form. This is not the last one. This is not the simplified form, but you also can write it in this form if you want to. But just let me simplify for you. So since I got the 2e to the x plus 3, since I got two values that has e to the x plus 3, let me just take this out. So it will be e to the x plus 3 and times by 2x minus 3 plus x squared minus 3x plus 5. This will be your simplified form. But this one is also your answer, but the simplified form will be the last one. So this is all you have to do when you come to this specific example. But if you guys get confused in these trig functions and exponential functions, how to derivate them, I got a video on that too, so you can check that out. So now let's do the last one. So the last question says log x 4 to the x. So my f value will be this one and my g value will be this one. So let's just use the formulas. Let's just follow the same procedure. So when I derivate log x, uh, let me just say log x, I'm gonna derivate this thing, and then I'm gonna write this 4 to the x as it is, and then I'm gonna write log x as it is. I don't have to derivate it, and then I'm gonna derivate the 4 to the x now. Eventually I can derivate the 4 to the x. So when you derivate log x, actually the formula for derivating any function is y. It's just u derivative over u ln a. So in this case, actually I don't have a, but my a value will be 10. If you don't have a, you're gonna take 10 as a. So for that reason, my u derivative will be, or u derivative means you're gonna derivate the x. So when you derivate x, you're gonna get 1. And then 1 over, and then you don't have to derivate x. This is actually the log formula. I got a video on this. So don't derivate x, just write the x as it is, and then it will be x. And then eventually you're gonna write ln 10. Since I don't have any a value, I'm gonna write ln 10. So this is all you have to do. So this is my derivative 4. Let me just write this whole thing over here. So my derivative form will be 1 over x ln 10. But if you get confused, actually I got a video on how to derivate the logarithmic functions, so I want you guys to check that out. So I derivated, and then now I'm gonna write 4 to the x plus log x to the whole 4 to the x. Now, not to the 4 to the x, actually, I'm gonna derivate 4 to the x too. So when you derivate 4 to the x, you're gonna get what? You're gonna get 4 to the x derivative is just 4 to the x times by ln 4. And the formula for this is, so let's just say a to the u. A to the u is u derivative, the whole ln a. So that's the reason, or that's how I get this value. So my last answer will be what? When you just multiply this whole thing, you're gonna get 4 to the x over x ln 10 plus log x and log x 4 to the x ln 4. This will be your last value or your last answer. So this is all you have to do when you counter this specific question. So the thing that I want to tell you is, guys, just trying to memorize the formula. And if you know how to derive logarithmic function, trig function, exponential function, and if you know the formula, you're gonna do it. It's just so easy. So all you have to do is just follow the formula and what the formula is saying. So thanks for watching, and this is it for this video, and have a good day.